This is the ultimate camera test of Google Pixel 9 versus Samsung Galaxy S24. 9 months in the making, which is a better camera phone? Let the battle begin. Today we're doing the very first camera comparison video of Pixel 9, and we will do a lot of this in the next few weeks to compare the flagship Pixel to the best and most popular devices out there. It's been a week-long comparison for me, so you would see mixed outdoors weather, you would see clouded days, you would see sunny days. We also have different indoor shots from house, malls, and random colorful things. We're also utilizing all sensors of Galaxy S24, the triple camera setup of the ultra-wide main and 3x optical zoom, and also the dual camera system of Pixel 9 with the main sensor having the macro capability. We are doing both image and video test. Let's start with color profile and saturation, and starting with Pixel 9. It has a more natural looking colors than Galaxy S24. Although the Samsung competition already mellowed down their colors, Pixel 9 is closer in real life. Also, the new Pixel flagship has better dynamic range. You will see better exposure on this phone on darker environment and shadows are well lit. It's not brighter, but it exposes the darker scene better. They almost have the same hue, but I noticed that maybe 70% of the time, Pixel 9 has cooler tone or white balance than the competition. Also, if you look on the darker spot on the images, you would see less noise on Pixel 9. It cleans up the noise better. Outdoors, you would see that it's a brighter sky than the Samsung competition, and you would also notice indoors, it manages the highlights really well looking at a strong light source like the windows or the areas with bright light source. The portrait mode on this phone is very promising as I see good improvements this year, and we will discuss this later. You would also notice that the main sensor is a little bit punch-in compared to S24, but the ultra-wide is wider, which makes more sense. While Samsung Galaxy S24 has more vivid and brighter colors looking at yellow, orange, and green, and even brown, which is the color of the skin, I noticed that more than half of the time Galaxy S24 has a warmer white balance than the Pixel competition. It also affects the mood of the images, giving a warm and sunny feeling on it. If you go to the darker areas of the images, you would see that Galaxy S24 brightens the shadows a little bit, but comparing this with the iPhones or other Chinese phones, it's actually darker. Pixel and Samsung has more realistic look. The portrait mode on this phone is one of the best in the market, but it goes toe-to-toe with the Pixel competition. Again, we will discuss this later. Looking at the field of view, the ultra-wide is a little bit punch-in compared to Pixel 9, but it's a wider field of view on the main sensor, and only this phone has a dedicated 3x optical zoom, which gives a better telephoto image than Pixel 9. Obviously, you will have better noise reduction, color reproduction, and details on the dedicated sensor of Galaxy S24. This is the new Add Me feature on Google Pixel 9. So you will shoot two images. First is the initial shot that will overlay the next image, where you can also add the same person or different group of people, and AI will combine them. Let's talk about portrait mode, and this is based on my personal preference. I think we have a new portrait winner, at least for this comparison, but we will test this as we go along. If you have an available big screen, you can look on the sample images for you to appreciate the improvements Google put on their new Pixel phones. Starting with the problematic cutout on Pixel phones, it's no longer present on the new Pixel 9, and I should say that in some situations, Google Pixel 9 is actually better on cutout or subject separation than Galaxy S24. On this shot, you will see that the left shoulder of my wife is already blurred on Galaxy S24, while it is still perfectly exposed on Pixel 9, which I feel is better since it's still part of the subject, but one can debate that Galaxy S24 is doing a gradual blur. But I think overall, the issue with the cutout, which makes people shy away on buying Pixel phones, is now fixed on the new Pixel 9 series. And again, personally for me, I think they're better, and I will explain why. Pixel 9 is involving artificial intelligence on the portrait images. There's definitely makeup involved on the images. You would see smoother skin with less blemishes, and you would see rosy cheeks on the face, but you will still see finer details as well, like the pores and facial hair are still visible. Now, if we talk about subject separation and bokeh, you would also notice the difference. You would see stronger bokeh on Galaxy S24. It shines in the background, but it's also a little bit busier than Pixel 9. So in terms of camera terms, I feel like Pixel 9 is using bigger and faster lens compared to Galaxy S24, but you could always increase the f-stop on S24 depending on your need. You would see those perfectly circled bokeh on Pixel 9 again, a little bit busier on Galaxy S24, but the advantage of Samsung is they have 3 focal length from 24mm, 50mm, and 85mm, while I feel like Pixel 9 has a perfect 35mm portrait and adding 75mm, so both phones doesn't compete with the same focal length, and it's a matter of taste what you would prefer. Now in terms of selfie, again, that's why I feel like Pixel 9 is the new winner. It has more to offer than Galaxy S24. First is the white balance, a difference in skin tone, warmer on Pixel 9 and cooler on Galaxy S24. But Pixel 9 is perfect even in flaring because you would see that Galaxy S24 has harsh flaring if you put the subject on the strong light source. And I like the stronger contrast on Pixel 9, feels like you're shooting on the images using the rear cameras. Galaxy S24 is a little bit muted. Now talking about night shots, both phones are really good, but I feel like I would lean towards Pixel 9 a little bit more on this comparison just because of two things that's present on the new Pixel 9. Again, I hope you're watching this on a bigger screen for you to appreciate the image quality of the new Pixel phone. First, what I like about Galaxy S24 is it exposes the shadows better. You would still see a little bit of information on the shadowy part of the images, and also the bluer sky. It forces the blue sky even on cloudy conditions. Now, what I don't like about Galaxy S24 is the tendency of the ultra-wide lens to have green tint as being shown on this image right now, but the main sensor and the telephoto are perfectly fine. Now, two things I like about the new Pixel 9 is the finer details on the trees and the surface with texture on it. Like on this instance, if you look on the left side, you will still see that the plants are being shown properly on Pixel 9 and it's just blown out on Galaxy S24. And second, if you go to the pitch black condition, whether you focus the subject by clicking the screen or just let the phone decide on the focus area, you would notice that Pixel 9 is sharper and has more information than Galaxy S24. What I like about Galaxy S24 is the video features that's not present on Google Pixel 9. Starting with the portrait video, there's no mode like this on the new Pixel 9. We also have the 8K video recording. It's shooting on 8K 30 FPS. Again, this resolution is not present on Google Pixel 9. It only has 4K. And this is the dual video recording. You can actually pick between ultra-wide main and the telephoto on Galaxy S24. Again, this mode is not present on Pixel 9. Now going for the nitty-gritty test, if we check who manages the flaring better, I pointed all the sensors from the ultra-wide to the telephoto to a strong light source, and all of them manages the flaring really well. Now if we check who manages the highlights better, if you look on this image, and if you zoom on the strong light source, you would see that the ball is perfectly exposed on Pixel 9, as well as the decorative pencil. One of the advantages of the new Pixel 9 is, although it only has dual camera setup, but it is capable of macro shot. Now checking the noise and sharpness, the ultra-wide lens of Galaxy S24 is noisier than Pixel 9, and I think the level of sharpness on the Pixel phone is still better. Going to the main sensor, I think they have the same level of sharpness and details, just the difference in white balance, cooler on Pixel 9 and warmer on Galaxy S24. And obviously on the telephoto, reach S24 is the advantage on the 3x optical zoom that has better image quality. It can go as far as 30 times. And for our last image test details, Galaxy S24 can go up to 50 megapixel while only 12 megapixel on Pixel 9. They have the same level of details, but you can always punch in closer on Galaxy S24 because of the extra resolution. We're starting with the video zoom test and stabilization while walking. We're using the ultra-wide lens, and you can see that Pixel 9 is a little bit wider than Galaxy S24. The stabilization is really good from both phones. Let's switch to the main sensor. And this is the main sensor. I'm not sure if this is just the screen of both phones, but Galaxy S24 is a little bit brighter than Galaxy or Pixel 9. And you have the 2x versus the 3x optical zoom. Pixel 9 is not so bad, but you can see good details on Galaxy S24. And the stabilization, of course, Pixel 9 is using electronic image stabilization. And we're zooming into the 4D zoom. 7x on Pixel 9, and you have 12x on Galaxy S24. This is the stabilization test in 4K 30 FPS using the ultra-wide lens, and you would see that Pixel 9 is a little bit jerky compared to Galaxy S24. Now this is the main sensor again in 4K 30 FPS, and like the ultra-wide lens, Pixel 9 is a little bit wobbly compared to the competition. And rounding up using the digital crop on both phones, Pixel 9 is a little bit better here, and we also have the 3x optical zoom on Galaxy S24. This is the slow motion test on both phones, and the advantage of Galaxy S24 is it can shoot up to 4K 120 FPS. Now this is the selfie video recording using the selfie camera in UHD at 60 FPS. Look at the white balance on the white wall. And we're walking a little bit for you to see the stabilization. Which phone do you think is better? This is the video test on Pixel 9 and Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra using the ultra-wide lens. This is the main sensor. The 2x on Pixel 9 and the 3x optical zoom on Galaxy S24. Going back to the main sensor. And we're doing a little bit of walking vlog. Looking at the screen of Pixel 9, it's a little bit darker on this phone and brighter on Galaxy S24. I'm not sure if this is just the screen. And again, this is the 2x and 3x and the ultra wide. I think the biggest shock for me this year is how Google Pixel 9 was able to catch up on the portrait mode and might have captured the night shot crown again, but obviously with everything Galaxy S24 offers, from the optical zoom and all the video features like the 8K video recording, the 4K slow motion, and great stabilization, I think this is a toss between image quality versus video features.